Welcome to Maxcellent Tutorials. I left you last time talking about colors and that some colors are screaming like a bright yellow, whereas some colors are softer and do the job without hurting the eyes of your audience. We're going to continue along the theme of colors and talk about how they can help spreadsheets be very readable, and that's why you want to use colors. We are not using colors to amuse ourselves and just to play with pretty color things. We're using colors to make certain things stand out, like labels, but also to make it more readable. If I zoom this out a little bit so you can see the full spreadsheet, you can see that there's 38 animals or so. I'm not sure the exact number. Um, and there's only 3 columns of data, so it's kind of easy to follow each one, but it might be a little bit easier to read if every other row was shaded. It helps the readability, makes it less work for the eyes and the brain. And that's what we want to do for our audience. What we do not want to do, I'm going to show you, just because I know some of you are going to be tempted. So I can highlight the cheetah and make it orange, and I'm going to highlight the pronged antelope and make it green. Then I'm going to highlight the lion and make it brown. Then I'm going to highlight, oops, I forgot to rehighlight. Then I'm going to rehighlight and choose red. That's a really bad decision. All you're doing is adding more information and work for the eyes and the brain, and that's not what you want to do. In the past, I've referred to writing an essay in crayon and handing it in to Miss Codwell. I think everybody in the room knows that Miss Codwell would make you redo the assignment. So we're not doing things because it's fun and colorful. We need to do things to make it readable, more readable, and easier for the brain and the eyes to digest. Lots of colors does not do that. Every other row with a similar subtle color does do the job. So I am now going to highlight every other row. I'm not going to do the whole table at once, because if I make a mistake, I have to start rehighlighting from the very beginning. So I'm going to highlight maybe all of these. Now, and I'm going to come up here to pick another shading color. Now, my guideline is to stick with the same color. I've already chosen a purple theme. Choose something lighter. So, same color family, purple, lighter shade. I'm going to go with this one. No, it's a little too close to, that one was a little too close to the original label one. So I'm actually going to choose the smallest one, the lightest one. So I'm going to choose that. And I'm going to click off so you can see it. It's easy now to see, to read those animals a little bit better, and I haven't overwhelmed my reader with crazy colors. I'm not giving him more work by having too many colors. I'm not making their eyes hurt by having scary bright colors or 1,000 different colors. I'm simply making it easier by highlighting every other row and clicking a lighter shade of the color I already chose. I also want to remind you that in order for me to highlight every other row, I am holding down the Control key while doing this. If you make a mistake and go out here a little bit, I think instead of redoing all of the ones I just did, I'm going to let those become purple. It's okay. I know how to fix it. So I have almost the rest done. So now all of those are purple, but I accidentally made these purple. I don't want to keep them purple. So I'm going to highlight them, come back to the paint bucket, and say no fill. So now I have a nice colored spreadsheet data table, and it's effective because it makes it easier for me to read, but it doesn't give my brain or eyes more work with crazy colors or too many colors. This is almost what I want it to look like. Almost. So we're pretty close to finishing the look. The last step, which adds a little bit more clarity, especially now that we've added shading, is to add borders. I've highlighted the whole data table because I want borders around and in between all of the cells. This icon here, which is right next to the paint bucket, is for borders. If I hold over it, you can see that it's telling me this one does the bottom border. I don't want a bottom border. Well, I do, but I want more borders too. So I'm going to click this arrow that opens up lots of border choices. This is the one I want to use. All borders. When I do that and I click away, you can see it's a very clear data table. It's not messy, it's not cluttered, and it's not crazy. In fact, if I have to say so myself, it's relatively professional looking. So I'm pretty happy with that. I hope you are too. Feel free to use a color other than purple, but remember, no screaming. No screaming. Um, and usually I find that if a student has to ask me if a color is screaming, it often means it is, because they wouldn't be asking me if they didn't have a screaming color. And that's my advice for today. Thank you for coming. I won't be here all week.